fix the camera a little bit. Alright. I'm gonna put out a warning to folks. With the position and the dullness of the camera, I cannot see questions or comments. And because I'm going to be driving to work, I'm not going to be able to directly answer things. I have to be safe when driving, and my recent experiences with the police have made that even more. Also, because of the direction of the sun, it's really difficult to see my screen, and I don't want to be staring at my screen while I'm driving, because that's just dumb. Now, why am I doing this while I'm driving? I'm commuting. I'm all by myself, and I have all these various thoughts that run through my head in regards to art and creativity and entrepreneurship and artist life and everything else, and I want to share them, but when I get to work, it's time for work, and when I get home, it's time to be a parent. Unlike a lot of folks out there who are artists and work a full-time job or two, when you get home, you get to decide what you're going to do. For me, I don't get that opportunity until after my kids are unconscious, and that's both of them. Hold on. Shouldn't be playing with my phone. Right there. So, fear and art in the online world. This comes up because while I was waiting to take care of a registration issue with my vehicle, yay, adulting, adult responsibilities, jazz hands, yay. Notice car's not moving. Because of this time that I had sitting at the DMV, or not the DMV, because in Florida it's not a DMV, it's a tax collector's office. Don't ask. I come from New Jersey. It makes zero sense. I picked up a new Bluetooth, so I hope that I have sound. That way I'm not talking and nobody can hear me. We'll see what happens. Anyway. So, art and fear in the online world. So I was listening to a bunch of TED Talks, because I love TED Talks, and a couple other things, and another artist popped up. I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head. But he had a video about fear. About fear and being an artist and how to overcome that fear. And it brought me to mind of my own story. Brought me to mind of my own personal story and why I'm not more well-known and why I don't have more of my work out there and why at 40 my art isn't where it's supposed, or where it should be, or at least in my mind where it should be. A lot of people say don't compare yourself to other people. A lot of people say, well, a lot of people started in the late 40s. I'm in my 40s and I have a lot of health conditions. I'm also in my 40s and I'm a parent of young children. This does not equate to a functional art career, or really any career for that matter, because it takes a toll. If I focus on my family, my career suffers. If I focus on my career, my family suffers. And trying to find that balance is not easy, especially when you're a single parent. And that's scary. I want to be able to be home. I want to be able to be there for my kids, to give them the support that they need, and I'm just not in a place or a position to be able to do that. I have a good job. I love the company that I work for. I think they're amazing. And it gives me the ability to provide most of the basic necessities to take care of my family. However, that's just the financial side of things. That's not taking care of the other side of things. The emotional and the at-home and the various domestic chores and other things like that. So trying to get my art out there, I've had to overcome a very huge blocker in my life, and that is the fear that's attached to the online world and my art. And a couple of things were said in many of those videos, and that's understanding where people come from. Understanding that they don't understand you, and that they may not be listening to what is being said. And that includes in your art. Understanding that art itself is subjective, and we have to have a little bit of a thicker skin when it comes to people saying they don't like something, because oftentimes that can't be helped. Their interpretation of what we create is their interpretation. It's their filter, their perspective of the world that is biasing them towards a particular viewpoint when it comes to looking at a piece of art. It's along the lines of those controversial quote-unquote modern artists that paint a painting that might be slightly off-white and have maybe a single dot in the center of it. And what that does is that generates a lot of controversy. People are like, what? This is art? It's $30,000 painting? That's ridiculous. What is this? And it's about having a conversation with yourself, believe it or not. You take a look at this painting, and it brings all sorts of values and questions, and it really, really highlights your... It really highlights your filter, your perspective. And when it comes to art in the online world, it can be very raw at times, and it can miss a lot of context, like facial expressions. Something someone may say that's sarcastic that comes across as rude may not be as rude if you know the person well enough to realize that they're just being a sarcastic nitwit. They're joking around and they don't really mean it. But people who may not know said person might get hurt by it. My fear developed early in the early 2000s as the art communities started to blossom, as the different galleries started to pop up, as different places for us to post our work online as a community so that we could get to know each other and learn about each other and expand our reach and come to understand each other's artists and network. Before it was you would have a website for yourself and post your art there, and if people saw it, they saw it, and if they didn't, they didn't. And social networking really didn't really exist per se. You had forums, you had IRC, you had LiveJournal a little later on down the road, and you had things like when DeviantArt eventually popped up, there was another gallery online that everybody went to called Elfwood, Side 7 before their complete revamp. I mean, there were a lot of different places eventually that you could post your art and whatnot, and some of them were predatory and some of them weren't. And all of them developed their own communities. And in doing this, you grew different niches, and you grew different perspectives, and they pulled together into many echo chambers. And what I saw as this grew and bloomed is that those artists that were really good would develop followings, people who wanted to support them or buy their stuff or commission them, and other artists, other creatives who wanted to learn their techniques and their skills. And artists would fall into one of two camps: the really super helpful, wanting to share and teach all the knowledge that they have with other artists, and the really super competitive who would get all antsy and awkward and tight-lipped because they needed to protect their income in their potential minds. Potential minds. What am I talking about? In their minds. And they wanted to protect that potential future of being able to be on their own. And then you had some of these big name artists with their huge fan followings, for online fan followings, having like 100 or more people constantly asking you for art. I mean, that's pretty large for a small time fan following. Excuse me. But what would happen is, say artist A would have a beef with artist B. Maybe they were friends at one point, or colleagues. Maybe they were working on something together, or maybe they had a project that something bad happened and they stopped being friends. Next thing you know, there was an online and all-out war. Well, I'm not talking about your typical levels of harassment, in some cases death threats. And it was frightening. It was frightening to see that if you voiced an opinion that was different from some of these artists, suddenly you were labeled some kind of horrible bad guy, and you would get, like, beyond trolled. Like, this was just flat out hardcore legal levels of suable harassment kind of thing. And it was scary, and it shut me down really quick. I have some of my stuff up online from the early 2000s, and then around about 2004, 2003, 2004, my artwork started petering out, like uploads started petering out. And around about 2004 to 2005, I had very little upload to no uploads because I was so terrified. And I wasn't getting feedback on top of that. Like, I wasn't getting constructive, positive feedback. And positive feedback doesn't mean, oh, your art's so good. Positive feedback is like, this is the book that you need to take a look at in regards to this particular part of the anatomy. Positive feedback. And on top of that, it just blossomed into this huge wall of unrelenting force. And then I got hooked up with a guy who was not supportive of my art. He treated it as a hobby rather than as being part of who I am. I became a mom, and I had all these responsibilities on my shoulders on top of that. And again, I wasn't getting the support that I needed as a parent, let alone as an artist. My relationship with my now obviously ex went down the toilet, and I'm now sitting on being a single mom. All of this is a detrimental force when it comes to being creative, let alone uploading things. Because I don't just poop out perfect pieces of artwork all the time. And I've had my children, I love them dearly, but they have ruined pieces of artwork completely. I can't even, like, look at them again kind of things. And some of them got just thrown out entirely. So, it's not easy dealing with this kind of thing, because that fear and that doubt build up. And this is why I started working with the Artist's Way, and this is why I've been listening to a lot of more motivational speeches, because that positive support, being able to surround myself with like-minded creatives, just isn't happening. It's not there. Even though I reach out on YouTube and hang out with other artists and other animators and things like that to try to find, I guess you could call my clan. I don't want to use the term my tribe because I don't want to be offensive. It's that idea. They're my kind of people. To find that again and to redevelop those bonds and those connections helps to ease some of this fear. It helps to erase it by having like-minded people who are struggling the same kind of struggle or similar be able to give you that support that you need. So without that, I've had to find that in myself, that inner strength, to beat through that wall of posting my stuff online. And just to let you know, guys, you're not alone. I have it tough, but there are other people out there that have physical disabilities, on top of possibly being single parents. There are people out there that struggle with just life in general, or crushing, debilitating depression, and trying to produce any kind of art is almost an impossibility. There are people out there that struggle to put food on their table, let alone produce artwork, and they produce artwork in order to make money to put food on the table. Oh, that was a ladder. I mean, I might have it tough, but there are other people out in that world that have it much, much, much worse. And I'm here to say that you're not alone. That fear, that inner doubt, it's more than an inner critic. It's accumulation of everything bad that builds this huge wall. Little by little, you can tap away at it, pop cracks into the mortar, and slowly remove brick by brick until you can see the light on the other side. Until you can feel that breath of fresh creativity breezing through. Don't let your fear stop you from posting things. Even if you make a mistake, if you forget to credit somebody, don't let that fear that you might get jumped. Take it as a lesson. Don't take it as a failure. Take it as a lesson. Learn from it, grow from it, and from that point on, do the things that you need to do to either protect yourself from these horrible people, or put yourself in a better position to win. Every failure is a lesson. And especially, I don't know about other countries, but it's especially terrible in America. I've heard it's pretty bad over in Japan, but I know that's just hearsay. But even in America, it's not about failing. Failing should be a lesson. You learn it and you move on. I know it sounds easier than it seems at this time, for some people, but it's the truth. Tractor trailer. Don't let the fear stop you from seeking feedback. Don't let the fear stop you from posting your art. I have a fan page on Facebook where I try to post tidbits and share really cool art and other things that I find. Not just my stuff, but other things as well that I find that's educational or helpful. And when I get a chance to, when I get home, or when I get a break at some point, I will dig up those TEDx talks and I will post them to my Facebook. You can find it on Facebook under Drakenhart Studios, DrakenHartStudios, Drakenhart Studios. You should recognize the logo. I haven't finished rebranding my Facebook yet because I don't have enough hours in the day to do things. Which is why I do these vlogs. Go there, check it out by today, the end of today, so I'll say 7, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The posts should be there in regards to these TEDx's and these other advice videos that I found. And leave a comment or something there. If you have found a particular advice vlog or a video made by someone else that has been a real motivational factor to you, leave a link in the comments below and tell us a little bit more about it and why, because that would be awesome. and what keeps you from posting things online. And if you guys are worried enough that your artwork may or may not be good enough, or that you don't have the feedback, post a piece. Post a link to a current piece that you've done that you would like help on, and we'll see what the community has to say. I might even, if I get a chance to, with my limited time, take a look at it myself. Not that I'm anything special. I'm just me. So I'm going to sign off with a reminder. Don't let your fears limit your ability to post stuff online. Do it. Do it. Because as many trolls and horrible people as there are out there, there are going to be angels that are going to come around and support you and help you and help push you through your difficulties. You'll find your mentors. You'll find the people who want to help you. They're there too. You just have to, as the saying goes, you just have to sort the wheat from the chaff, and it'll do it. It'll do it naturally. So take care. Be healthy and happy, and don't forget to get the art out. Alright. I need to get over a lane before I end this. So I am in a